Hi everyone, I'm Emma. Welcome to the Settle in Canada Now YouTube channel. Before we begin, please like the video and subscribe to the channel to get the latest immigration-related information. Now, let's dive right in. In a 2022 survey, the Conference Board of Canada found that 88% of students in Canada had multiple permits before they were granted permanent residency. Some of the key findings are as follows. It is not common for international students to be able to attain permanent residence through their studies alone. Many international students who do achieve permanent residence have held multiple temporary visas before making the transition. Having multiple temporary permits before obtaining permanent residence can increase the risk of exploitation by employers or losing immigration status. The number of international students in Canada is increasing significantly. In 2019, the number of study permits issued to first-time permit holders reached 199,500, which is almost 3 times the number in 2010. This growth is particularly notable in college and certificate programs, which saw a 5-fold increase in study permit numbers from 2010 to 2019. From 2010 to 2019, more than 1.1 million international students were given their first study permit for 6 months or longer to study in a post-secondary institution in Canada. As of December 2020, a significant number of international students from the 2010-2019 cohort have obtained work permits after completing their studies. Roughly 640,000 international students from this group had obtained at least one work permit, and 220,000 had gotten more than one type of work permit, such as a post-graduation work permit program permit and another type of permit. These numbers are expected to increase as more international students from this cohort finish their studies and apply for work permits. In the 2010-2016 cohort, a majority of 61% international students held a work permit after study and 26% obtained multiple types of work permit. A small percentage of international students who were granted permanent residence (PR) in Canada did so without obtaining a work permit after their studies. Only 16,595 students, or 9% of those who were granted PR, became permanent residents after completing one level of study in Canada without obtaining a work permit afterwards. An additional 3% of international students became permanent residents after completing 2 or more levels of study without obtaining a work permit. The majority of international students, 88%, became permanent residents through a combination of study and post-study work. The most common pathway to PR, accounting for 35% of international students who became permanent residents, is one level of study followed by a post-graduation work permit program permit. Nearly 15,000 students, or 8% of those granted PR by December 2020, became permanent residents after completing 2 levels of study, obtaining a PGWP permit, and obtaining another type of work permit. International students are under more pressure to secure good employment quickly because their job prospects affect their chances of obtaining permanent residence. They may also face additional challenges, such as racism and negative perceptions about their language ability, accent, or cultural fit, as well as limited support navigating Canada's immigration system and job market. They may not have access to settlement services provided by IRC and may not receive immigration or career support from their post-secondary institutions after completing their studies. Any errors, unexpected life events, periods of unemployment, or bad legal representation can put their immigration status at risk. Study alone is rarely enough for international students to qualify for permanent residence. Let us know what you think. Thank you for your time. Please consider liking the video and subscribing to the channel. Click the notification bell to get an alert as soon as a video drops. Remember to stay positive. It will take time, but you will achieve your Canada dream.